Alright, everybody, take two! Now we're back with the first trial, and see, I did feel a little bit bad since Baby didn't really like my magic trick, so we kicked Dyer off again. It's Alex, welcome back.
Hi, yeah, I'm back. Had to come back and steal the spotlight back from Dyer. Hello, everyone. But yeah, we're getting started here on the first match here. Bubbles over, taking over the Spirit here. Gonna be an interesting build here with Pop, Sloppy Butcher, Agitation, and Corrupt. Pretty standard build, I'd say. Definitely a little bit of a surprise pick on the Agitation. What do you think's gonna go on here at the start of the match? Can't really find out anybody.
Trying to spot the uncorrupted gens, now seeing the first one with a little bit of progress and scratch marks as well, so that means the first survivor has been spotted. Maybe a couple more could be in the area though. Oh, this is a nice gen spawn for Bubba though. Do you see how close these are together?
Yeah, certainly a 3-gen potential. Survivors are gonna have to keep that in mind. Make sure that they don't get too reckless with which gens they're getting done here. We'll have to see what it becomes of it though. I don't believe he spotted out that person at Shack, or maybe he just didn't want to take the first chase there. But either way, still taking a look around here, trying to find somebody out. It's gonna get Shack pallet down pretty quick though.
That's what I call a comp pallet drop. Very early, but also in time, I guess.
Whatever saves you the hit, I suppose.
Spits are taking the first chase-ish. Bubba not really committing yet. It's very focused on interrupting and controlling the progress of all the gens. Maybe even getting rid of a couple of resources. Every pallet dropped is moving the map closer to being unusable for the survivor. So I guess it is progress for him. And now we also have the first hit coming out onto Karma. So Bubba is now starting to pick up the pace.
Yeah, it looks like first chase here is going to be going around Excavator. Laurie trying to take him back towards the area of the map he didn't originally want to play in. He seemed a little bit afraid of staying on the Shack side of the map, but let's see what happens here with the Excavator chase. Not going to go over super well for Karma. It does waste a little bit of time, though, at the expense of that Firecracker. But that'll look like the first hook here.
I mean, we did take some time at the start of this trial, but I guess it's fine. We got rid of, I think, 3 pallets in total. They're still down, so they're still usable, but it's something also now with the first hook and no gens popping. Some might be a bit close, but I don't think we have to fear of too much progress just yet.
Yeah, I would make an assumption here. I think the survivors are aware of the 3-gen, aware of how close those gens are, and they're trying to prioritize getting those done. Because you don't see much pressure there on the main gen and all, which is probably a good generator to get done. And there, right there, as we saw Ada working on Shack gen, I think that was about 75%. So yeah, I think they are aware of the 3-gen setup, trying to make sure that they don't get stuck in that later on.
We're also trying to keep the progress down. However, the first gen just now popped. Thunder gets caught off guard out in the open while Karma is getting rescued from the hook. That marks another for the people as well, trying to keep Karma from getting tunneled out. I wonder if that's going to keep Bubble from chasing him, though. I don't think so. However, Spit's taking it down now, so that might mark hook number 2.
Yeah, you gotta wonder, that for the people, I mean, it's certainly a good perk, but unfortunately with the new win condition being, all fresh hooks, you gotta wonder if that's really the best play. I mean, sure, you do keep, Karma from getting tunneled out, but you're just giving him a free hook basically for free. Like, what was that, a 8-second chase, give or take? So it's definitely gotta be a little bit scary, the idea of opening yourself up to a lot more fresh hooks, a lot easier chases, and just overall making his job a little bit easier. But regardless of that, we'll keep Karma healthy for a little while longer.
Oh, however, Thunder now being in chase again. Bubba's actually picking up the pace, getting a lot of downs. Now going in with the mind game, having to walk over towards the windows. There's still a decent amount of distance between Thunder and Bubba, so there's still something to work with. Next pallet goes down, and now we're connecting over towards the corner of the map. Face wall coming in. There might be another filler, and it's +5 wood onto Bubba's other side. Thunder pulling up a really nice chase right here.
Yeah, we'll have to see what he has to work with now. I mean, 2 down pallets against the Spirit. You don't have too much to work with there, but very, very solid chase from Thunder, not getting caught out in the open anywhere, making sure that he's playing each pallet as best he could. But not a terrible chase. We'll buy some more time. Hopefully they can pop out another generator here in a second. Pop Goes the Weasel will most likely hit a pretty progressed gen, but hopefully they've been working on some gens in the meantime, and that chase wasn't for nothing.
Yeah, you've mentioned it. It's been quite some time. They did go for a reset with a Sloppy Butcher. That does take some more time than usual. However, the objective shouldn't get left behind for too long. Dunner now being rescued. We spotted Kalmar. Rocket not being the last survivor. Fresh hook, so he might want to stay hidden depending on how far they're gonna get with these gens. Kalmar now the one who has to get as much time out for the team, does well, but doesn't make the hold over the pellet, and therefore is our next down for Babazov.
Yeah, very well played there by Karma, keeping him on his toes as long as he could. But you know, as long as you play Spirit well, you know how to find survivors in instances like that. Didn't play it, unfortunately, well enough to get that vault over the pallet, but still well played. Still wasted a little bit of time.
Time is going to be an issue though for Aeternum, I think, because only 2 gens done, 4 hook stages out of the way already. I think they need to switch priorities a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's really hard to make a decision of, you know, what to do here, especially with Sloppy Butcher in play. I mean, you know, you look at this perk and you see such a high opportunity cost. Do we want to full reset the team so we don't have, you know, instant downs, or do we want to work the gens, right? You know, it's such a big decision you got to make, and that's such a waste of time if you end up, you know, healing for nothing. So it's certainly a problem they'll have to deal with, and hopefully sooner rather than later, because Karma's in chase and he is death hook, so this could be very problematic for Aeternum here. Hopefully we'll have something come through. Hopefully Karma can lead him on a nice long chase here. Oh, that's terrible. That's gonna be Karma leaving the trial.
Yep,
Wow.
First elimination. Sage number 5, I believe, and the first survivor done. Spit's also not mended yet. Maybe they're trying to pressure out 1 gen. 2 people. Rocket now being spotted as the last survivor who's fresh hook, so even a better setup for win con if you get him down. I mean, we have to tie the first 2 with a new score system before that, but still, Bruiser's trying to get and go for the max. And at 4K, at this point in time, it looks really possible.
Yeah, no, absolutely. With 2 injuries on the field, it's certainly gonna be a rough time, because, you know, Sloppy Butcher's gonna waste a lot of time healing. Ace, not exactly in the safest area. This pallet is already down, so he has, you know, basically just a window in that filler pallet to work with. Hopefully he can. Hopefully he will not make anything happen. Unfortunately, that window is just not strong enough. But especially against a killer of this, you know, with this strength, there's just not much you can do in these areas. But Aeternum are starting to fall apart here. It looks like they had a very slow start, and I don't think it's paying off. The generators are just not getting done as fast as you'd like to see them get done.
Okay, Misa side hidden.
Nice stealth play by Nia here.
Yeah, they didn't run, so Babu couldn't spot them. However, now going back to the taking care of a few casualties, you know, kicking a gen, taking out a pallet. Not too much to worry about.
Yeah, no, I'd say I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Good.
Oh, don't worry, go ahead.
So I'm just saying here, like, I don't think he has any real reason to leave, right? Because no matter what happens, he gets something good out of this. If the one healthy player comes to save, that's his 4th fresh hook. Ada can't save, and, you know, Ace is kind of just stuck on hill, right? So, you know, we're going to see a 1-for-1 here. Ace is going to get off the hook, but if he chooses the hook, that's a 4th fresh hook, and Ace is going to be super vulnerable after this, right? So he has almost nothing to work with here.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's get as many gens done as possible. So that's the 3rd one. If they get a 4th, I'm going to be really impressed, but they're in a very bad spot right now. Eternal starting off strong on the first trial, and Bobo doing a really great job. Rocket now, you said it, the last fresh hook. So also for the last win con, if it becomes important, is fulfilled. Now Thunder being found has to put up a great pace again. Take as much time for the team as possible. Rocket still being on hook. Spits might be on the next gen, but are they going to be able to put up a new one? No, they're going for the rescue. So that means Bobo now knows where everybody is.
Yeah, I gotta wonder what's gonna happen after Ace leaves this trial. Are they gonna be able to finish another generator? I mean, that's at this point that's your best option, right? You don't really have time to reset. You don't really have time to collect yourselves. You just gotta see if somebody can make a good chase, get those extra points, and make your killer's job a little bit easier. But Yeah, I don't know where this is gonna go, but I'm interested to see it. Hopefully they can split up, use good teamwork, and make something happen. 8 is gonna get cut on the edge of the map though. That's terrible.
Nice play with the locker though. Getting as much time out for the team as possible. The question is now, how do you go further from the survivor side? I mean, you don't have a lot of choice, right?
Yeah, your choices are very, very limited here. I mean, now I think it's just a decision of, do I want to make a hatch play or do I want to make a gate play, right? Or the gate's far enough to where I could actually make a gate escape. But looks like Nia's going to be positioning herself towards Shaq here, trying to stay out of the Spirit sight. Does have fixated, so she can make a little bit more distance while she charges her sprint burst, making sure that she doesn't get caught out too early.
Ooh.
Looks like she is going to get spotted out, though. Sprint first will save her as we enter the final chase, most likely, of this trial here. Probably going to see them move towards Shaq to try and get that hatch. We'll have to see if Rocket can make it and juke out the Spirit here. Ah, not quick enough. That'll be the last down on Rocket here to close out the trial, I believe.
And that makes a yummy 4K for Bubble Salver. I mean, they did get 3 gens out. It's a safe win condition though for Team Aeternum. Eternal is in a very great position. I mean, they had the chance to maybe lose a point because Aeternum could have made the hatches game, but with being spotted right away, there's just no chance.
Yeah, that's just one of Spirit's strengths. I mean, injuring people, keep them on the sidelines, finding them out later, making it even easier to track them down. Very, very well played by Bubba, executing Spirit to all of her strengths and making sure the survivors just didn't have any leeway to heal and make his job any easier or any harder, excuse me. But yeah, very, very well played match from both sides. Looking forward to seeing what they can do in the next trial.
And the next trial is coming up as fast as possible, but that means we're gonna go into a quick break.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here on the Blood Lodge. Vlas is going to be taking on Team Eternal with the Spirit here. Got a little bit of work to do, a little bit of a big job in front of him. We'll see what he can make happen with it. We're going to see a very, I think it's the exact same build as last game. Pop, Sloppy Butcher, Agitation, and Corrupt Intervention. Does spot somebody out pretty quick here, a lot quicker than we did see last game. Looks like it's going to be taking the first chase over here towards a filler pallet, keeping him on the side of the map and away from the gens, just getting started here. What do you think is going to be the main objective here, Blue?
I mean, for the survivors, it has to be the generators. You have a really nice win condition. You have to complete 4 gens, and that's it for you. So Nightlord's doing a really good job at keeping Vlas in the corrupted gens, so the rest of the team can attack the uncorrupted ones already. So there's a lot of multitasking Vlas has to cover right now, which is also why he's going to attack. So none of them have had too much progress now. We spot Pedro in the distance getting more of a gen who already has quite some progress.
Yeah, this game is already looking a little bit different than last game. We saw a very slow, a very methodical approach to the gens last time, but this game is just quick chases, quick ends to chases. Survivors just probably look like they're slamming gens all around the map. Pedro's going to take a pretty quick hit there. Hopefully he doesn't go down too quick here as we make our way towards another pallet on the side of the map. Is going to get caught out though. Spirit's a little too quick for him there, but is going to buy a little bit of time as these gens are still flying by.
Very clean chase and a fast first hook. I have to wonder though if he can keep up the pace. I think the point where Vlas won't have enough time to pick up survivors is going to come very fast.
I know, absolutely.
Now we spotted Dan. But getting right into a chase would mean 2 other survivors could pressure those gens further, so decision making is going to be very important. The first hit getting applied to Dan, but he doesn't make the window! Man. That's a huge down!
Yeah, that's not what you want to see. That stagger effect without balance landing is killer. I mean, Dan's paying the price of it there. That's probably not going to go over well in the comms. As 2 gens pop. Alright, okay, Eternal showing that they're not going to let that mistake be for nothing. 2 gens popping immediately after one another. Very well done by Eternal, getting this pressure going. Making sure this win will not come easily.
That's what I mentioned, if you go for the next chase, 2 gens are gonna pop. We do get a hit onto the magic, so it's probably a trade on the ground. Pedro also picked up. Since the down is right underneath the hook, we're gonna go for the next couple of stages. But he still has to keep an eye on everybody else. Dan and Pedro injured now. The question is, does Eternal go for the reset, or do they just pressure out those gens? And knowing Eternal, they might actually go for that.
I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be better to go for a reset. I mean, because you got to keep in mind, Pedro did not hit second stage, so he's not on death hook just yet. He will have a little bit more time in the trial, no matter what happens. You know, you do want to get your survivors healed, especially against Spirit. Once you're injured, her job becomes so much easier. Granted, I could definitely be proven wrong. I mean, he's not going to get this pop value, it looks like. So, no matter what happens, I think Eternal are in a relatively decent spot with, you know, only 2 more gens need to get completed, 4 survivors still in the game, nobody on death hook. It's going to be a matter of, you know, how they execute it and how they actually play around what they have available. But we'll have to see what happens here.
Aeternum's Killer Blast is keeping them on their toes, though. First reset coming in while Magic is trying to get as much time for their own team as possible. Keeping the chase around Shaq, keeping it in the corner of the map, which means more and more distance to... Oh, there he has to overcome, and he's doing such a good job. It's going to be the corner. Will Magic eventually goes down. Blast goes for the pickup. That's a lot of time. But Eternal's using it wisely, getting the first player reset, but now with Dan still being injured. I wonder if there's going to be 2 gens popping.
I don't know. I think Dan had the deja vu, so he might, or deja vu resilience, so he might stay injured and just, you know, enjoy that 15% gen speed. Possibly. I don't remember the perk exactly, but, you know, I guess we'll see what happens. Yeah, okay, so resilience, no deja vu, but I guess that doesn't make sense. Keep him injured, just get his gen speed increased. So definitely not the worst play, but Pedro and Nightlight are gonna, you know, full reset, probably slamming a gen somewhere on the opposite side of the map. And I mean, if you look at that gen split, there is absolutely nothing left on the Shack side of the map. There is absolutely no reason to go back over there. That's a little bit crazy. I think we're going to see most of the action happening around here at mid and, you know, just as far away from Shack as possible. But, yeah, I wonder which gens they're going to be working on to try and prevent a 3-gen. And as I say that, another gen is going to get popped. This is looking very scary for Blast. I mean, he's got...
Oh, there it is.
All right, cool.
And that marks... yeah, that marks the first set point for Eternal. I mean, they did a great job. From the get-go, they knew they only had to crank out the first couple of gens. And even with Dan being injured, I mean, also with the gen spread, Blast is in a very difficult position, having to defend all of these gens at the same time and getting his own points. Getting the survivors dead and leave the trial at some point. It's a very, very hard thing he had to accomplish here, and I mean, Eternal did the great thing. However, obviously it's not over because the next set is going to be the Artist set, so Aeternum will have another chance to maybe get us into playing a tiebreaker later on.
Yeah, absolutely. This game is certainly not over. You know, Spirit's a very aggressive killer, very easy to snowball on one side. You know, just because you do well on Spirit does not mean that's automatically going to translate to a killer with such a different play style and such different setup. You know, regardless of that, we'll have to see what the survivors bring, what their plan is, how they plan to I guess take this next match. Because I believe Spirit was that Eternum's killer, or no, it was Eternal's. Or I'm sorry, I'm so lost here. Yeah, okay, so Eternal took that first. So we'll have to see what Eternum's mindset is going into start killer here in this next match. But
I mean, if Vaz can manage to get the 4K out now, that's at least something you can take on with your mental. You can't let yourself be defeated by losing the first set, and I think he did a great job. It was a nice. It sounds so bad phrasing it like that, but it was a nice try. And I'm honestly saying that.
I mean, that's the best way to put it. I mean, you know, they did their best. They didn't roll over and just give up. Still a good result regardless, but still just not, you know, just not what you wanna see in order to get the dub here. But I believe we'll see 1 or 2 more chases here as Dan taking to the corner of the map, just finishing up the trial here, get the best result that he can. A little bit of a fake phase, I believe, there leads to a pretty quick down for Dan, played by Vlas. I think Eternal might just take the 2 men out and say see you in the next trial, man.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to try, but they could use the opportunity to go into like somewhat of a prac situation, but they rather just speed up the process, get Pedro and Nightlight out of the trial, and therefore end the first set with a 1-0 for Eternum. Now, with the other sets running up, we're gonna have Eternum's pick and Eternum starting on the killer again. So I think it's a very decent position to be in. They still have a lot to work with.
Yeah, this set's not nearly over yet. We got to see what happens here in this next trial. But Vlast or whoever plays Killer's really got to bring it, because, you know, you're against Eternal. There's no time to sit around and just enjoy yourself. You got to be working. You got to try and get that best result you can. So, looking forward to it. We'll see you guys in the next trial.
And we're back with set number 2. Last again on the killer side for Team Aeternum, facing the survivors of Team Eternal. Currently, the score is 1-0 for Eternal. They took the first set, so it is Aeternum's turn to take a set point for their own.
Yeah, Vlad's definitely going to have to keep that in mind here. He's going to have to play pretty much as well as he can. Playing a little bit safer, bringing in Noed into the trial, just to have that in his back pocket in the event that things do go bad. We'll see a pretty gen-focused build, or, well, not exactly gen-focused, but, you know, Pain Rise, Agitation, Noed, and Corrupt. Pretty standard build, but able to control the gens as well as have Noed in his back pocket. This first shift to Bubba is going pretty well for, I'd say, both sides. He's trying to keep him away from the gens, over in this corner of the map, but there's not too much to do. And Artist Birds are all going to miss. That's unfortunate. That's going to lead to a little bit longer of a chase here. Bubba's going to get pretty much as far as he possibly can away from this center of the map here. Very, very well played by Bubba. Just keeping the Spirit, excuse me, the Artist away from pretty much where he needs to be.
A good first chase. I wonder if they maybe doubled a gen already, and if they have,
oh boy,
which they did, the first gen is already popping. So somewhat of a deja vu maybe for Blast. I mean, an even faster gen pace coming out now, but with the crows, we might have some more to get it to have the map still under control. We spotted Dan, but that's not exactly the survivor you want to be chasing, especially with the rescue coming out right in time.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see a pretty quick chase back here into Bubbo. I mean, you can't really allow him to just stay in the trial like this. You want to get somebody out as quick as possible, especially with the kind of start that you had. You didn't really have much control over the gens. You also didn't get a Pain Res hook off on that hook on Bubbo. So yeah, I don't like that. Another gen's gonna pop, so he's gonna need somebody out of the trial very quick here. I think Bubbo's gonna have a very chase heavy game. He does get hit with the crows here as he drops the pallet. He's gonna be able to make his way back around though. He's not at the worst tile in the game, but against an Artist, those crows can just hit you so easily. Good prediction by Vlast there, gets the down.
I was gonna say, that's a really nice shot. Well, really nice crows, I guess.
Yeah,
for Vlast, knowing that then that Bubba's gonna try to connect the tiles at that point and try to make his way over towards the next possible thing to work with. So, caught off guard, the next hook coming out for Bubba, but look at them being on the objective. The gens already getting more and more progress. We do know where the front survivor is at, and Check is a very good position to be chasing, but we see Vlast looking back towards the hook every now and then to maybe catch a survivor trying to go for the save before it gets towards the hill.
Yeah, I mean, this hook on the hill is going to be probably a really, really easy one to camp, especially with Artist. I mean, even if you get somebody, even if you get him off the hook, somebody's going to have to go down for it, and that's going to be a very, very easy hook for him to I guess, play around this game, considering the fact that the Scourge hook, you know, very central hook, which is a Scourge hook, so very easy for him to control the gens. I would assume this is going to be a prime point where he plays the rest of the game no matter what happens, but looks like Bubba's going to go ahead and die here on this hook unless they make a last-second save, but we'll take another generator instead of saving Bubba. Yeah, Bubba is going to go ahead and be sacrificed here. We'll enter the 3v1 with one gen remaining, not two. And probably a little bit of progress here on this Shack gen, as Dan was over there quite a long time. It's at 90%? Eternal, what are you doing? This is crazy.
It's like they're having imaginary toolboxes with them. It's insane.
Yeah,
the gen speed.
Does miss a skill check. That's going to make that gen not pop as early as we would have liked to have seen. But holy crap, Eternal, how do you do this?
It's still an insane performance. Being on the objective so efficiently. It puts Vlast in a very bad position. I mean, with a kill like Artist, you probably expect all the gens to pop, so you're trying to go for as many stages, which is why you do go for the cam on the first survivor, if you're not confident that you can prevent the survivors from popping all of those 5 gens. But now for him, since the last gen is going to pop it, it's inevitable at this point. You have to get as many stages to make the win condition as best as possible for your own team. And he's doing a good job at delaying the last gen, but for how long can you keep this up?
Yeah, these skill checks are not in favor of the survivors here. That's 2 missed skill checks. 20% of the generator just reset, so Eternal's gonna have a little bit of a rougher time trying to get this gen completed. Hopefully Nightlight or Pedro is somewhere working on a gen off in the distance where Dan can just keep the chase away from the rest of them so they can actually get this gen finished. But yeah, Eternal is just, what can you even say? I mean, this gen progress is absolutely incredible. The efficiency here is great. I mean, they're looking pretty good right now. Dan is going to be taking the chase back towards the corner of the map, away from everything else. I believe the artist here is going to try and get Dan out, maybe secure 6 stages. And that last gen is going to pop. No, it will be in effect now. But, I mean, the damage has kind of already been done. And luckily for him, the Noed totem is right there, so he can just hook Dan, take the 6 stages, and probably guard Noed and Dan at the same time.
I think someone's on the Noed though.
No way.
They got it out immediately. That's so... that's the most efficient you can be. They could even try to go for the rescue, but the gate is open. Pedro's still in a somewhat unprofitable... They're actually going for a save. Holy.
That's insane. That is absolutely crazy. Do you call that bad luck, or do you call that just incredible prediction by the survivors? I mean, Noah was the one thing that could have saved this game and made it like a 6 stage, but instead Eternal are probably looking at more of like a 4 or 5. Unless artists can, double hit Nightlight or Ace right here, but all severed hands could lead to some problems though.
Everybody's marked by the crows now. It has to be the dodge. Pedro does go down though, so that would be another hook and another first stage. There is a flashlight in the exit gate though, so you have to be careful when to pick up or not. You have to force stand on the ground, get him out, but Nightlight still somewhere. Maybe he has run back into the trance of safety. Dan out of the game, and Nightlight has to run out right now. The question is, where is he? Did he go for the other gate? No, he's staying. Now leaving the trial, however, but this gives Vlaz another stage and another fresh hook. That's good.
That is really good for him. 7 stages, 3 fresh hooks. That's certainly a better result than 2 fresh hooks and 6 stages. So Eternal probably not very happy with themselves. I mean, 7 hands. Look at that value right there. That got you that down. That got you this these extra stages. So Vlaz probably very happy about that. Definitely an easier result for his survivors now. But we're gonna see Eternal take on the artist here and see what they can do. So
yeah. So see you again after a quick break.
See ya. Welcome back, everyone, into another artist game here. Nightlight on Artist, still going to be looking to end things once and for all, try to put these survivors out of their misery and take the set point for Eternal. We're going to see a very quick find on Dunder here on the side of the map, taking him into the corrupted area a little bit, so pretty good area to take the first chase here. See how this first chase goes. I think it's definitely going to set the tone for this match, seeing how the last one started off very quick as well. What do you think, Blue?
Yeah, I agree. Dunder needs to set the tone for Aeternum. How good are their chances to take this second set and take us into the tiebreaker? Or is Eternal going to be able to close things off right now? But Dunder is doing a really great job, I think. Even only being at one singular tile, he's getting a lot of time out for his own team.
Yeah, this is definitely a great chase. Certainly better than the start we had last time at main. But Dunder just juicing Nightlight here. Makes it back towards main in the center of the map. Doesn't even drop the pallet there. Very, very well played. This should buy a lot of time for Eternal to be slamming those gens, getting some gen pressure on the board. And we'll see where Nightlight rotates to in order to find his next survivor.
Oh, hello. Surprise. Spit's getting caught off guard. That's not a great position to be in. Now having to be careful. Able to dodge the first crows. Now has to turn around since Nightlight is changing the pace, but he doesn't want to get caught into the deep end of the map, so he's making his way back towards the mid. Does get hit now though, so being injured. No filler pellet on his way towards main. Having to dodge the crows as well. He reaches it, and there's still some pallets and the window to work with, so it does get much easier for Nightlight.
Barely dodging those crows. That was very, very thin of a margin. Good job, Spitz, keeping this chase going, just not giving Nightlight any opportunity to end this chase quick. Wins the mind game there on that pallet. Is going to buy even more time And this is a drastically different game. We saw last time as 2 gens pop before the first down.
They're doing an amazing job, even being injured for so long now. Spitz is keeping it up, and Nightline having problems to get that first down across the board. Nice patience on the corner now with the right moments. Passing past the window and the 3rd gen being completed. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a 4th following very soon.
Wow, this is completely insane for what I was expecting. I mean, we saw what Nightlight was capable of last game, but this game, the Survivors have just cranked it up to a completely different level. I mean, Spitz and Dunder have just done absolute wonders for their team and for this matchup. This first down hasn't even come through still to this point. I think he's going to concede it now. He's going to have to give up his position as run of the comp corner. Yeah, that's what we're going to see. So the first down will come in here after 3 gens has popped. And if we look at the Survivors there, we see one of them on a solo gen out in the corner, and then 2 of them doubling a gen here, and it's going to pop! 4 gens for the first hook.
This is insane. All of a sudden, Aeternum pulling a 180. Yes, of course, it's the first hook behind the main building, but what a run from Dunder and Spitz, getting enough time for their team to complete 4 gens. That's huge, and I don't know if Nightlight playing for Eternal can recover from that. We do spot the 2nd survivor now, but the 5th gen is inevitable.
Yeah, it's way too far out to be able to actually guard it well enough. I mean, you have pain res, but you have no way to directly pressure it. I think the Survivors are going to be able to figure out a way to split their efforts up to finish that gen as quickly as they can. And Spitz is going to go ahead and get off the hook. I mean, at this point, if you're Nightlight, I don't even know what you can do. Because you both need fresh hooks as well as just more states in general. He does have no-ed to crutch on a little bit, so that could definitely lead to some pressure being generated at the end game here. But right now, these Survivors are just giving him absolutely no wiggle room and no room to work with.
Yeah, he needs 8 exchanges to secure this 2-0, so he needs it down like yesterday. I don't know if Rocky can survive these crawls. There's not a lot of wiggle room right next to the border of the game, but it has been some time. And yeah, we've had the rescue come in, but the other Survivors haven't reset just yet, so they're waiting for the hook to come out, and then they're probably gonna double the gem until it's done. Nightlight needs to be very fast to catch them off guard, and even with a complete new survivor, with a fresh survivor, taking that one out of the trial still wouldn't be enough to meet the win con.
Yeah, this is really unfortunate for Nightlight. I don't really see what you can do here. I mean, the only thing you got going for you is that Spitz is injured, but you know, Spitz has adrenaline, so if that gen pops, any chase time you have on him is just going to be pretty much useless. Well, as I say, that Spitz is going to get caught out here in the corner of the map, taking him to a 4-lane with no pallet. It's going to go down relatively quickly.
We do get the save on to Rocket, but we've seen another survivor still being on the gen. If it's a pain res hook, that's going to be reset for quite a bit, but it's probably not going to be enough. So there we go, not even in time. The next gen gets popped, however, in the corner, and with no-ed now being in play and right next to the hook, all of a sudden new possibilities have opened up for Nightlight and Eternal.
Yeah, boy, adrenaline is going to be popping on Spitz there, just giving him that speed boost as well as the full injure. I believe Nightlight's just going to commit to this survivor at the gate here and make sure that nobody else gets out if he doesn't have to allow them to. Going to be chasing Dunder once more. We've seen what Dunder can do once this trial. Let's see if he can pull it off again. The other 3 survivors are probably just in a position to... Yeah, there they go. Just leaving the trial, taking their win on this one. Absolutely perfectly played by Aeternum here.
I mean, it's a complete 180 from what we've seen first, so you see how one DC can impact your game. So, with Thunder now going on hook, but the other 3 survivors already haven't even left the trial. Y'all know what this means. It's a 1-on-1. So we are going to get a 3rd set, and that is going to be the Ghost Face. I am so excited, Alex. What do you think we can expect from the upcoming set?
I have absolutely no idea. I mean, this trial alone has shown that anything can happen. Anything can 180. I think it's going to be a lot more of a... here's my prediction for it. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a slow-paced game because it is a weaker killer than Spirit and Artist. But I think we're going to see a lot more, I guess, tactical plays coming in from both sides. A lot more thought to where you're going to be chasing, and a lot more interesting of setups to see what they can do to counter this Ghost Face.
Well, having said that, we are going to go into a little break, and we will be right back with the Ghost Face on the treatment theater. See you in just a bit. And this is trial number, I think 5, if I got it correctly, technically, in that we are on the treatment theater. Bubble coming on the killer for Eternal, playing the Ghost Face versus the survivors from Team Aeternum. This is going to be the last set, so it's now or never, do or die.
Yeah, I mean, after the artist set, Bubba's definitely gonna have a little bit of a task on his hands here. We've already seen that either team can completely crush the other. Very, very good performances from both sides. Hopefully, Bubba can take some of his experience from his Spirit game and apply it here. But gonna be starting off with the first chase here. Rocket dropping a pretty safe pallet. If we take a look at Bubba's build, we did see a very standard build for Ghost Face, running that green add-on that allows him to instantly refresh his power after he breaks a pallet. So it's safe to say he will probably be undetectable for most of this game. This gives a lot less room to be careless and just run around the map. So they will have to be very careful with that.
We'll spot it. Spits over there on the generator, going back into the crouch, maybe trying to get a little bit of stock process onto him. We've already got few percentages onto our first survivor. Now we're just playing around the pallet, but that's going to be dangerous for Spitz, now being completely exposed, having a second survivor now though coming in to take the dime out, the MVP for Spitz, but it's not going to be enough. This is a long time that Spitz is going to be exposed.
Opts not to go for the God Pallet, wants to use this pallet in the room first. Interesting decision here. You do have Bond, so it's very easy to see where your teammate is, at least for Spitz, but I'd imagine he would want to make this God Pallet stay up as long as he possibly can. Dynamo still in the area nearby, does drop the God Pallet. Will get broken very quick by Bubba, probably very happy to have that out of the way. But these survivors here, very well executed with their teamwork, just kind of keeping everybody up, making sure nobody goes down too quick. We have not seen a generator pop just yet, but Rocket's going to get caught out in the open here, gets fully exposed very, very quickly. And I believe the haste boost from that purple add-on is going to come through and make sure that down comes on the Rocket. Is on a pallet with a teammate nearby, so it might not be the easiest setup for Bubba to take advantage of. But he's going to go ahead and chase Dimel over here by the exit gate, see what more pressure he can generate.
Very patient, dropping the pallet, the second go first. Generator now being completed, the double vault, not expected, making his way around and around. The second time, the hesitation gives Dimel the option to go further towards the library. Another pallet as his disposal being dropped, even more distance now between him and the killer. This is amazing. This was such a good position for Eternal to be in, but they managed to pick both survivors back up, and Spitz not longer being exposed now will be able to take a hit if Daimar needs any assistance.
Yeah, we'll have to see what goes on here with this area of the map. It's certainly a pretty strong survivor side of the map where they have these pre-drop pallets, but looks like Daimar's not going to have any help in time. Ada wasn't there quick enough. That is going to be a down. Yeah, chooses not to take a chase. Gonna go ahead and pick up Dimel, probably go for his first pain res of the game. Ruin's probably gonna be doing some work for it. We didn't see any survivors on the generators. They were all either in the area, or maybe there was one working on the gen, but Ruin's probably getting some good value here. See, Rocket's gonna be taking another chase towards the corner of the map, just trying to get him away from that hook, making sure that that unhook can come in for free. Is gonna see Ghost Face go back towards the hook though.
Bubba checking on the hook. Survivor getting put out of his stalking phase though. Donner has to leave. They don't know how much stock process he has probably, so better not take the risk now being back into the shot. Getting a lot of progress, almost half on Dunder, and no rescue coming in just yet. So still the survivor not being able to do anything. And you've mentioned it, yes, it was a very nice coordination from the survivors, taking a hit, being there, being very altruistic, but that leaves the objective being left behind, at least for bits. So there's not a second gen being completed yet. However, the Mao is gonna enter the second phase.
Oh no. Oh, I think you cast a curse at that. Ace comes in just in the nick of time, prevents the second stage from coming out. Oh, that's unlucky for Bobo. Ace coming in.
I'm so sorry.
The absolute last second that he possibly could have. Gets the save onto Lori. I mean, they've got to be celebrating now. Sure, that's another pain rest hook, but Daimao's going to stay in this trial for quite a long time now compared to how long he might have had. Rocket's here for a body block as well.
Oh.
Gets an interesting blind from a flashbang. Make Bubble go ahead and hug a wall for a little bit. We'll get a free hit here onto tap as Ruin's going to go ahead and kick into effect and start regressing that gen a little bit more.
Hey, Ruin is doing a lot for Bubble right now. Keeping the gens under control. As soon as that's gone, though, he might be in a troubled position.
There it goes.
I'm so sorry. I'm so.
That's
once
twice.
Again.
That's twice now. Oh,
I'm taking
man.
home.
Your hardest opponent's you, not even freaking Aeternum. But, yeah, we're going to see Bubba just go ahead and kick that gen. We're going to see 3 survivors resetting here at the top of main, just trying to heal off those wounds, get rid of the Sloppy Butcher, and see what more they can actually get here in these gens. Because, you know, they've had some good chases, they've had some good setups, but those pallets are very quickly draining, and they still have 4 generators to complete. And if you don't have pallets on this map, it's a rough one, especially against the Ghost Face, who can catch you off guard very, very easily.
Absolutely, you have to move into the body blocks even more than before, but with the Sloppy Butcher, it takes a lot of your time, a lot of your resources. And now you catch the survivors on the reset spot. That's huge as well. Now even spotting their Mao again. So you know where 3 of your survivors are. Only Spitz can be possibly working on a generator. However, you only have 1 completed right now. So it's not the worst position to be in. This pal is also still available. It's pretty safe. You just have to keep on your toes.
Oh.
Reaction time is important, but we might be on a little bit of a ping since we are playing internationally, so that is a hit and another down on Dunder.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate there. Relatively safe pallet, but at the end of the day, it's just not going to get played perfectly. But still a good chase by Ace there. Kept Ghost Face off of the gens long enough for them to pop another one. But will not be a pain res hook, as Dunder's A already been pain res. And, well, we'll see the survivors just keep slamming those gens, making as much progress as they can. I believe that was tap on a gen at about 60 or 70%. So that's probably the gen they'll be focusing on to try and push out. But yeah,
I mean, we're now entering dangerous territory, right? With their Mao being almost fully stocked, 2 people being injured as well.
Yeah, here comes that slow pressure that you can see from Ghost Face, just building up slowly over time, being able to capitalize on survivors' mistakes. And this is looking okay. A little bit better now for Dunder, as that was going to be a very, very bad down if Rocket wasn't there to help him out. But great teamwork, great coordination. Rocket's going to keep Dunder in this trial.
At least for a bit. Difficult Palo to play. There is another window, but that doesn't make a lot more distance. Yeah, that's going to be another one for Dunder. Great idea, but with my Mao being almost fully stocked, you can't really go in for another body block. There is a 3rd gen popping though, so now the survivors are moving more towards completing the objective, which is giving them a lot of progress. Oh, even a 4th one. Okay, that's huge.
That is indeed huge. We're going to be down to 3 gens on this map. All 3 survivors in the exact same location, though. That could be very catastrophic if he manages to find them, seeing as 2 are injured and Daimao is almost fully stocked.
Oh, and no escape as well. These 4 bits.
I
think a very dangerous game.
We'll have to see what happens on these gens here. I mean, he has pain res stacks remaining. He has Sloppy Butcher to slow them down, but at the end of the day, he does not have all that much to work with. It's not game over yet for either side. Certainly something could happen here, but I think these last 3 gens are going to be the most crucial of the game.
You're going for the reset, but if you bubble, you're gonna check the gate. They're both injured. At least one is going to take it down. Now the question is, are you gonna catch Rocket? No, he makes his way towards the map. Oh, also there's another pellet there, so it's not worth going for it. But another hook and another fresh one as well, so pain rest coming in. Hopefully, the Mao wasn't too focused on the objective now.
Yeah, no, I think he chose to save a painter's hook because he just checked all 3 of the gens and noticed that they were all at, like, you know, very, very low progress. So he probably wants to save that stack for a little bit later in the trial. Spitz is going to get off the hook relatively quick, though. So we'll have to see what happens here, what kind of chase he's gonna take, and who he's gonna go after.
Oh, a little bit of mind games, trying to catch him off guard. Quick reaction time, though not entered the chase yet, so no blood loss building, but with being undetectable, it catches Spitz off guard eventually, going down in front of the pellet. No option to go for a pellet safe. So, right back towards the hook for him.
Yeah, Spitz is probably not in a very good position here. I mean, being on death hook with the painters going off, probably not what you want to see. And Rocket is nearby as these blood trails are kind of giving him away. Let's see what kind of chase we can get started here on the Rocket. Oh, and Diamond's actually near the hook, and he's almost fully exposed, so this could definitely snowball into something bad here for Aeternum. Just gonna go ahead and 99 to stock.
That's amazing. He's going for the strategy. He could get a 4K now if they mismanage. The survivors make one little mistake. Damo now trying to go in for the save. The body block from Bubble. Oh, making it so hard for him. Now going for the timing, being exposed. Now he takes one hit. Spitz now unable to get another one. And Rocket still being injured. Damo has to put up the chase of his life.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. We'll see if we can have a repeat of that Artist game. But not too many pallets to work with here. Not too many tiles to keep you safe. Damo is just going to take a pretty quick down. And this will be, I believe this is the 4th Painter's hook? Or the 4th, the last Painter's? I'm not too sure, but potentially a Painter's here who's going to hit the last gen. No? Damo's already been hooked. Okay, I see.
That's good for the survivor side. We haven't seen Rocket in a long time. That's concerning for Bubble, but as we switch over, he's not on a gen. There's no progress.
Rocket's just doing Rocket things, keeping himself on the objective, making sure that that last gen is getting as close to completion as possible.
Oh, there's scratch marks. We know another survivor is close. Now what do? Do you go? I mean, you have to go for the reset or for the gen. Question is, do you think you can escape the trial?
I don't know. At this point, things are looking really bad because nobody's healed, and they're not healing now. So I think Dynamo's going to go ahead and leave the trial because they don't have enough time to heal. As yeah, Ada's just going to go ahead and hop on a gen. You just don't have the time to reset fully with Sloppy Butcher in the game.
It was a very slow start, but Returnal is slowly started to take control. He's very much in control right now. Getting another survivor out now, knowing that there's someone close to the gen. Maybe just trying to get his attention so Bobo doesn't go check on the other gen, so he just kicks this one. He has 3 left to check. They have to be so careful. Spitz also being death hook. This is going to be so hard for them to get that last gen out of the way. They have to reset if they want to try this, or just try and get Spitz out. And it seems like the choice isn't left to them.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I think he's gonna go and look for a 4K here, or at least. Okay, maybe not, but I would too. Seeing as Rocket is worth 3 whole stages, I mean, taking a chance on the hatch is certainly a bold play. But I guess we'll see what happens here as we enter the final stage of the game. Who's gonna get that hatch? Who's gonna claim the 3 stages? The survivors or Eternal?
Rocket gets a hatch. That's insane. He's walking slow, doesn't want any scratch marks that could potentially give his position away. A little bit of a heartbeat we've seen to the visual indicator, so we're moving in closer. He has to get as far to the map border as possible, but now he got spotted, so that marks the 4K and 1 gen remaining. So what looked like a very good game for Aeternum at the start turned around and now became a huge outcome for Eternal.
Yeah, that slow pressure build up over time, it just really starts to add up, really starts to hit your team more and more. And we saw Bubba slowly take more and more control of the map and just make the survivors play the way he wanted them to. And he's reaping the rewards of it now.
Do you think they can still be? Do you think it's a good performance for a good outcome for the survivors, anyways?
I mean, it depends on how you look at it, right? So if you look at, how Bubbo started out to play this game, looking at, what he's coming off of, I would say he expected to do, as good as he could, obviously, but I would say the survivors could have had a little bit more, I guess, to come from this game if they would have played a little bit. I guess at sometimes a little bit slower, sometimes a little bit faster. That's really confusing. Doesn't really make much sense, but I think they kind of played how Bubba wanted them to, just a little bit too much in the mid game there. Played a little bit too safe, and just didn't focus enough on the generators when they needed to. But at the end of the day, not a bad result for either side. We'll have to see what they can do on the killer side.
Yeah, I agree. It wasn't the worst. It could have been better, but it always can be, right? So
Absolutely.
Let's see if they can turn it around on the killer side. Coming to you after a quick break.
Welcome back in, everyone, to what is possibly the final match of this Ghost Face set. Nightlight, Bubbazover, LaMagic, and Dan are going to be taking on Vlast here on Larry's. Very interesting game last time. We saw a very dominating performance by Bubbazover, slowly turning the tide as the game went on. Vlast has to follow that up somehow with a really good performance here.
Yep, 13 stages before the last generator gets completed. It's a steep win condition, but entering the first chase on very early. Nightlight already having a bit of progress to his stalking status. LaMagic, although pushing the pallet onto Vlast's head, making a bit more distance between himself and the killer. Getting a bit further away from Vlast, at least for now.
Well, I want to go ahead and call out the Face the Darkness perk choice. I know I've seen it once or twice on a Ghost Face, but I've never actually really seen it thrive, we'll say. So looking forward to seeing what he can make do with that perk.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Well, I mean, LaMagic now is injured already, but it could come in clutch. Maybe. Possibly.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Also, the other key difference, he's not running the green add-on that refreshes your night shot. He's running the gray camera, which I believe makes it expose survivors 20% faster. I believe that's what it does, but very interesting setup here, as he doesn't want to go for the very standard Ghost Face build, which works incredibly well from what I've seen, but we'll see what he can make work with it.
Maybe trying to pull out all the stuffs. Now finding Dan in another corner of the map, going for a double, I guess. Now leaving Dan over there. He knows a lot of positions of the survivors, so trying to rotate over towards the Gen C scratch marks. He has a lot of info during this time, which is great. Also, the Ruin gonna do a lot for him again. He sees that Nightlight being stuck a little bit, but only halfway through. There's a second pair of scratch marks though. Yeah,
as we've seen, that slow but methodical pressure building up can certainly work in Ghostface's favor. So Nightlight overtime is going to be in a worse and worse position, but we're going to see Bubbo get exposed here on this corner pallet. If we recall from last game, he had a very nasty hit on somebody at the pallet, and Vlad's going to go for a really nice lunge here, just get that free down. Unfortunately, there is someone here to prevent the pickup from happening, as there will be a pallet save if he goes for it. Magic is probably going to take a tag here. Let's see what Vlast does. Is he going to go back and pick up, or is he going to try and outplay the survivors a little bit more? Make sure that he can't get pallet saved. Oh, and interestingly enough, Bubbo chose to leave the pallet. Okay.
Well, I guess we just give him that.
Yeah, that'll be the first hook of the game. Not a pain res hook. Interesting to note that gen progress isn't going to be interrupted just as bad.
Another piece of info. No generator completed just yet. Oh, but two survivors there. One completely stuck. You have to take that hit now. Dan taking the first one. Nightlight still has a lot of time left being exposed. No one there who's able to take a hit for him. But Vlad decides to turn around, go back to Bubbazover. He knows if they want to go for the rescue, it has to be Half-Life survivor. So chances are that there's either no one there, or he can get an easy down over here again now. More coming out, two survivors known. With that, there shouldn't be anyone rotating over. That should be second stage for Bubba.
I think it will end up doing that. I'm really happy I opened my mouth about Face the Darkness, because now I'm seeing, just how nice those screams can be with getting those survivors' locations constantly.
Yeah.
But yeah, this should be a second state, as it will be on the Bubba. That'll be a second state immediately. Certainly a different pace of a Ghost Face game than Bubbo had, but I believe we're going to see it start to pick up here. Nightlight's no longer going to be exposed, so he can go for the save, or potentially we're going to see a reset on Dan and LaMagic, and one of them will go for it. But somebody's got to get him off that hook because time is ticking down very quickly.
And as you've mentioned it, someone's rotating over. It has to be Nightlight. He gets the first hit, so it will be a trade. Bubba getting a little bit of distance. Maybe we're gonna go for a bit of stalking, or we're just gonna commit to get the first survivor out of the trial. I mean, everybody is injured. Nightlight on the ground, so a lot of objectives that survivors have to take care of. There's another God Pilot, which comes in handy for Bubble. Second gen also completed in the meanwhile. But it certainly feels like a fast-paced stealth killer game, which is, it feels unusual to me.
I agree with that. I think he's going to have to give up on Bubbo here. The cost of taking Bubbo out of the game is going to be way too high. I mean, with the amount of resources he's got available still, you're probably going to see Nightlight get up, and you would see a gen pop. But yeah, he's going to go ahead and back off, try to relocate, try to go back and guard the gens as best he can. And not play as aggressive as he has anymore, simply because he can overextend very easily and then lose the game.
Good thing is, he has an idea of where the reset point could be, and if he catches him off guard, with being right now, it could be a huge play. Now seeing the blood trails and the scratch marks, someone's pretty close, and even in the area of the ruin, so that's the survivor you preferably want to spot. You see two more people screaming, so even more info for Vlad at this point in time. Aeternum not looking too bad, but he doesn't manage to find someone, so that's good for Eternal.
Yeah, I'm curious to what LaMagic and Dan are thinking here, you know, what they want to do. Okay, so I believe they were trying to go for a reset here, but they weren't trying to do it until they were safe, because most of these pallets in this area are down, I believe, so this could be a relatively safe tile for LaMagic to play if he wants to play around it. We'll go ahead and drop the pallet. Not exactly the safest place anymore now, but see if he wants to go ahead and take his lead from this place, find somewhere a little bit safer to chase, and keep LaMagic's pressure from increasing any more from what it already is. Because 3 injuries on an undetectable killer is a very, very scary thing.
It feels like a key point in the game. This is a lot of snowball potential right there. One mistake, and Glass might actually take this. Pellet going down, as well as LaMagic. LaMagic taking the hit, also being a fresh hook survivor, and Vlassi once more. He knows they have to go in for the pickup as well, trying to get on with a little bit of mind gaming over here. Could have worked. He gets the hit, Bobble down, and going to be on the hook as well, and out of the trial, I believe.
Yeah, that's going to be a survivor dead at 2 gens remaining. It was about to be 3 gens, but they managed to pop one in the last second. I think if he... Could you imagine if that was a pain rest hook and it went off as it was about to pop?
Oh god.
That would have been funny, but regardless of that, survivor down at 2 gens remaining. Still all 4 pain res hooks. So not exactly getting the most value out of it on Bubbo, but we'll see what he can make happen here during the rest of the trial. Now, I don't remember exactly, but Faith of Darkness is not active. I don't think it got cleansed, so I think it might have just deactivated.
Possibly.
I don't
see. I mean, Bruin is gone as well now with the first survivor being out of the trial. They're still cleansing. Oh, hello, LaMagic. Yeah, getting caught. Yeah. Oh.
No ping. No ping.
We don't hit those. Well, at least once. He makes his way over towards the next pallet, but this also is going to be a difficult position to be in. There's another window. Nice! Using the hesitation to get over towards the other window. I think he needs to get rid of this pallet at some point. Oh, we're gonna play around the Bloodlust. Level 2 already. Oh, the magic is juicing up. He's juicing right now.
Oh my
Look
god!
at that.
Well, Magic just absolutely destroying this chase, making absolute work out of last. Bloodlust level 3 coming in. That's going to be the hit on the window, but wow, that was an expensive down.
And also not reset, and as you've mentioned, expensive if they paid attention to the generators. The 4 gens were the tie condition, but with not having seen both of these survivors in a long time, we might be entering dangerous territory.
Yeah, looking very, very scary here for the survivors as well. Well, in at least a different way. If they can't manage to pop that gen and the pressure keeps starts rolling back up, that could be really, really unfortunate. As Dan's gonna get caught out at the worst possible time. And it's going to be Nightlight, the only one left standing with a gen that's about 95%, I would say.
Excuse me? Could this be Eternal going into a lower bracket? Possibly? Is that what we're looking at right now?
That would be something very rare to see indeed, but I don't think it's over just yet. I think they still have some fight left to give. Another painter is going to go off. That is going to stop the gen. Definitely good for Vlas here. Nightlight is somewhat in the area, ready to go for the save, most likely. I think LaMagic will probably rotate somewhere safe, maybe work on a gen. Oh, Nightlight's going to get caught out! That'll just be a free hit. Nobody can go for the save now.
Uh-oh.
That slow pressure.
Dangerous.
That slow pressure, again, is building up just over and over and over again. We see it as, okay, they are going to pop a gen, so they are going to meet the tie condition. So worst case scenario, they will have another chance to bring this back. The game's not over yet, though. Vlas now has to make sure he finishes this trial as strongly as he possibly can.
I mean, right now the first 6 stages are on the same level. In the last game, we had 12 stages. Vlas technically needs 13 now before the next generator pops. He's not trying to. Oh my god, that could be the 5th gen. If they are able to complete this one, it's over. Is Vlas even remotely in the same area? Dan now entering the 2nd stage. But he's on the complete other end of the map.
I think that is going to be the 5th gen getting completed for Eternal.
And with that last gen,
oh,
the magic goes down, but the last gen pops, and therefore Eternal does take the win. Ever so slight difference. It was so close, but they managed barely to get this out of the park. It's going to be the 2-1, but Vlas does get to take a 4K, and Aeternum isn't lost yet. As I mentioned before, we have a double elimination bracket, so they still get to play and to compete.
Yeah, looking forward to see what they can bring in their next set of games. I mean, who can really? It's not very often to say 4K Eternal like this easily, or at least without a very, very long and hard-fought game. But you can definitely walk away saying you gave it your best. You did a very good job. Which is that slow pressure build up over time from Ghost Face was just too much at the end for Bobozover to have. But very, very well played by both teams.
Insane. It was so close, and for a second there, you thought Aeternum might make the unthinkable happen and put Eternal into a lower bracket after being like undefeated for ages, for feels like an eternity. But I'm sorry.
You had to do it. You had to do it. But
yeah, I mean, Dara isn't here. Someone has to do it. But it still marks the win for Eternal. They did it. They turned it around. They're gonna continue towards the round 3. Well, or you could say the half finals, the semi-finals. Coming up is now going to be Calamity versus Shock.